538, I'm not with them too.
2330.
Squad 280 took a disturbance on Virginia.
Copy. Missouri squad that conduct 280 at 611 Virginia for 3 vehicles parked in the street playing loud music.
Squad 280. Don't fight on me.
Copy. GOA 2331.
Well, that was almost like Charles. They're out of gas almost. They didn't want to stop and in a hurry to get to the gas station. But guy and his girlfriend, he didn't have a license. She does. So we just let her drive the car to the gas station. The reality out here is that a huge percentage of people don't have driver's license anymore, and it's usually because they didn't pay their fines. It's not necessarily because they're bad drivers.
And information to squad 72 our pickup tolls for felony threats of violence and terroristic threats. Suspect is Capri Angela Renee Mims. She's a black female.
With the COVID, there's just no sense in trying to arrest people for not having a driver's license.
And herself.
Taking them to jail or just, it's a different time right now. So I do, if I can make sure that there's a qualified driver driving the car, I give a lot of breaks. A lot of breaks. Some people probably aren't happy that I give that many breaks, but when COVID is over, then we'll go back to some other form of law enforcement. So
You can show me 10-8 and I'll be en route to Castile Park for a PPV.
get a lot of requests for ride-alongs. Just look, but obviously until COVID is over, can't really do many ride-alongs. We'll just have to wait until the vaccine is available. All right, let's go over to the west side here in a little bit. See, familiarize you, if anybody's familiar with the west side, get a little familiar with it.
Everything.
Gotta clear my traffic. 2400 on clear traffic. For those of you that just joined us, we're on patrol here in Ramsey County. Thanks for joining us. Been on patrol since about 9:15. We'll probably go till about 1. Hopefully we get a little more activity. It's been relatively slow. But,
Can you have 283 go forward, please?
feel free to text us with any questions. I'm not going to answer all of them just because it's hard to do that at the same time, and some of them are semi-political in nature, and really trying not to turn this
Squad
into
283. Can you go to 4, please?
too much of a political discussion. Just the nuts and bolts of what we do and what affects us. But the text number is 651-448-3810. 448-3810.
And 225, I copy your note to 23 Rose Avenue on a suspicious to check a suspicious vehicle that's in front of Collar's house. It's a blue four-door sedan, unknown plate, occupied by one time. Collar is concerned it might be Amanda Lynn Lowe, who was just released from prison for assaulting Collar's roommate. 228, are you able to back? Affirmative. 228, you can disregard, we got plenty of help. 228 covers. 2330.
I'm going to maybe do sometime this week or next week, besides doing nights, go on a ride along during the day. I want to show you some of the things that our intervention team, we have a couple former gang members that are out on the street trying to get kids to put their guns down, meeting with them, during the day, and they do some great work. A lot of times they're downtown here, either at the transit station or over at Kellogg Park, talking to some of these kids. Might be interesting for you to hear them talk about what they're hearing. I mean, the problem is people are carrying guns because they're worried about getting shot at, so they're telling us that they have to carry a gun, they have to be ready to shoot first. And that is a terrible set of circumstances. But back to this gang violence intervention, there's been a lot of discussion in the media over the last year. John Choi, County Attorney John Choi, has proposed a gang violence intervention program targeting, the 75 gang members. And the concept is to have law enforcement work in partnership with the community, usually the religious community, to tell kids, hey, if you stay on this course, we're going to put you in jail for a long time, but here's a window out. And then use the religious community as sort of the moral compass. So we do have a smaller grant that Erica McDonald, the U.S. Attorney, has given to St. Paul, and we're going to start working on that with the African American Leadership Council. But really, if we can target resources, you saw the other day that the Ramsey County Probation Office got rid of their gang unit. They only had about 40 kids that they were working on within their probation environment. And that'll be a loss for us, because this program would be similar to that. Get the kids that are on probation and really have an intensive program to convince them to change. I don't know, I heard a quote on the news the other day, which is really true, that nothing stops a bullet faster than a job. So we really do need to focus on getting those 75 young adults off their path, and frankly their younger brothers as well. So we're going to run over to the west side. The Robert Street Bridge is obviously closed. We're going to go over the Wabasha Street Bridge. I gotta make a one-touch phone call. Hang on a second. Good. Hey, the only thing I have to add to that domestic was that truck plate that I put in the CAD. The truck was at the corner, when I pulled up. The guy was outside on the phone talking to somebody, and then he took off east on Maryland and then south on by Loeb Lake there. And so I followed that truck. First I went through Creamy Cone, I followed the truck, and then I stopped the truck. I didn't even know if it was related at that point, but I just figured it might be since he was in that vicinity. So he claimed he was talking to the woman, but he said it was a female on female domestic, which I'm not sure if that's factual. But anyhow, I have no information on his name, but she probably had that. Did she give that to you or not? Well, there's only so much you can do then. Just throw that plate in there as one of the parties. Okay. Yeah, I could probably identify him if Emmerich wants to send me a picture of him if you need that. I don't know but you don't really have a victim at this point. Yeah. All right. So it turned. I didn't know that those were related until you just called. But the rolling domestic at Larpenteur was the same as the Creamy Cone. Yeah. What's his physical on the? What you know? Look, he's a stockier guy, heavier set. Oh, he is. All right. Yeah, send that to me, and I'll let you know if it's the same guy. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Bye, man. So it turns out that rolling domestic that we were looking for over on the east side was the same domestic that was going on at the Creamy Cone, and that the plate that we had run turned out to be the same plate that they were looking for over on the previous one. So he just sent me a picture of the guy that was supposedly in that truck. Same guy, but the victim was not cooperative at all. She just she didn't want to cooperate. Unfortunately, said she didn't trust the police. So we got intelligence, but not necessarily anything to actually ever charge a person with domestic assault. Although it isn't clear, probably was him just assaulting her. So that was the St. Paul officer just wanting to know what I knew about the Creamy Cone. He was the east side officer. Then he found out that other call was related. Somewhere, somehow, the pieces all tie together. All right, we're over on the west side. And turn that radio back up so we can hear what's going on. It's nice having you drive along with me. It's enjoy letting you see what we do. Sorry it's not a little busier. When we get to Annapolis up here, Annapolis is the border with West St. Paul. And unfortunately, West St. Paul is not dispatched by our dispatch center. So on our radios in our cars, we cannot hear them. So Dakota County and West St. Paul have a different system. But a lot of officers that work the west side actually carry a scanner or have their radios programmed so that they can hear what's happening across Annapolis. Because there is a fair amount of activity. It's not